Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Mary Jo Bowling, Homes Editor for Luxe Interiors and Design. Tonight, we're going to talk about a building in a very special home. Many of you are probably familiar with the building, 181 Fremont. It's one of the most prominent luxury condominium towers in San Francisco. It rises from the heart of the city with a distinctive architecture that's inspired by the maritime location. Now tonight we're going to take you inside this building and specifically into a home that's just been finished and is ready to hit the market. Now creating a home for such a storied award-winning building might be daunting for some, but the team behind it are up for the task and we're going to interview them. We're going to be talking to interior designer Robbie McMillan with Aubrey Maxwell. We're going to be talking to Matt Latucci with the J. Paul Company, Tom Gaspar, sales associate at 181 Fremont, and art advisor Holly Baxter with Baxter and Associates. Matt, let's start with you. Give us an overview of the building. Oh, Matt, could you turn on your mic, please?
Of course. There you go. Thanks, Mary Jo. Well, I'm Matt Latucci. Thanks for having me tonight. I'm with the J. Paul Company. And we're here in the heart of downtown San Francisco at 181 Fremont. We are in the East Cut neighborhood, which is San Francisco's sort of newest high-rise live-work community. We sit 802 feet off the ground at the building's highest point, making us the tallest mixed-use structure west of the Mississippi, which we're very proud of. And when we first conceived of this building, probably 10, 12 years ago, the goal was to create a landmark, something that was of great beauty, something that was iconic, lasting. And I know those are words that developers throw around pretty freely, but in this case, I think we really accomplished our goal. And when you have the chance to create something new on the skyline of a great international city, it comes with great responsibility. So you really have to do something special, and I think we did here. And we did it by using great striking design, wonderful architecture, and really cutting edge, high-tech based engineering. And if you look at our building, one of the hallmarks that you can see from almost anywhere in the city are these wonderful diagonal structural elements. And they kind of serve two purposes. They kind of connect with the visuals that you see out in the water, the sails and the great sailboats. But it also provides our exoskeleton, the seismic integrity that keeps the building up. We have a very unique window line. It's a sawtooth pattern. The windows on the exterior shell are offset by a few degrees, which when the light bounces off the building at different times of the day, it creates this sort of jewel box effect, which are all really interesting and unique. The building also tapers as you get into the sky, but it tapers at different points and different elevations. So it creates this really interesting look from any part of the city. It gives the building movement, this dynamism that you don't typically see in high rises that we're really proud of. We're also very lucky to be adjacent to and really connected with this new gem of a public park called the Salesforce Transit Park on top of the Transit Center. It's 5.5 acres. It has over 500 trees sourced from all around the world. It's a real little oasis within the city and really beloved by everyone in the community. So a lot of these same guideposts that we use and philosophy that we use to create this great exterior, we brought in the interior of the building using only the finest materials. We collaborated with great designers from around the world, Robbie being one of them. Art is also a big part of who we are at J. Paul Company. We wanted to create an art program that was more than just what you see in your typical commercial building. So we teamed up and collaborated with Holly Baxter on putting together a art collection that's almost reaching 300 works of really museum quality art throughout the building. Some are in our permanent collection and some are on loan from world famous galleries. And you're going to see our latest installation called PODIUM here in a little bit. So it's a building we're really, really proud of.
Here we are at the front door. Tom, take it away.
Thank you, Mary Jo, and thank you, Vanessa. My name is Tom Gaspar, and I'm the Senior Sales Associate here at 181 Fremont. As Matt mentioned, when the J. Paul Company was kind of conceiving 181 Fremont, they really were striving to create a new level of luxury in the city that's really never been available in multifamily. And so in order to do that, they really needed to, they sought out best in class for architects, engineers, and design firms. And Orlando Diaz of Odata Studio is the designer that was brought on board to create the interiors of 181 Fremont. Orlando is a very well-established San Francisco-based designer, but Orlando's worked all over the world. And he's known as the Dean of Modernism. His modern interiors, by use of rare woods and beautiful stones and artisanal kind of finishes, he really is able to create beautiful, warm, modern interiors. On the right, you'll see an image of our residential lobby. And here Orlando has used Paldeo wood from New Guinea with a piano lacquer finish. It really adds a great warmth to the design. This same Paldeo wood carries through the residential hallways, and it creates the front doors for each of the residences. Regarding the artisanal finishes, Orlando had the light sconces that you're seeing in this image, custom designed for the building. These also appear in our hallways. And Orlando's from Cuba, and it is good luck to have a bird's nest on your patio in Cuba. These were inspired by the bird's nest that was built on Orlando's childhood.
I didn't know that.
Just a little orientation before we turn it back to you, Mary Jo. So the 55 residents of 181 Fremont are located on the top 17 floors of the building. And today we're going to take a walk through our residence 61B. This is a beautiful 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. The floor plan is well laid out, 2,314 square feet, and we're perched almost 600 feet in the sky. So now I'll hand it back to you, Mary Jo. Thank you.
Well, now it's time for the big reveal. Let's step inside one of the newest homes at 181 Fremont. Now, Robbie, the excitement starts at the front door. Tell us what we're seeing here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this home, Mary Jo. I am Robbie McMillan with Aubrey Maxwell, the co-owner with my partner, Marcus Keller. So when you enter this home, the first thing that we thought about with this home is that it's likely the home of an art collector, and that's the way that we conceived of it and the way that we planned it. And walking into the front door, we kept it free of furniture, maximized the space on the walls for artwork throughout to really make it a gallery space. All of the rugs throughout the home are from an amazing fashion-forward Italian rug company called CC Tapi. This particular rug is a 16-foot runner. We customized all the sizes of their rug designs for our home here. And this is by Patricia Urquiel, designed by Patricia Urquiel, an amazing Spanish architect and designer, playing with chromatic, colors in organic form going down this rug. The other key element that we added to this hallway was the archway mirror that goes all the way to the floor. So it sort of gives us an illusion of an architectural archway that you could walk through in some ways. And in another way, it helps to reflect light and reflects the artwork in different perspectives. So
one of the things that's so exciting about this home is the art. And Holly, I'm so impressed with all the soulful stories that are behind the pieces you've selected. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, I'm Holly Baxter. I'm the advisor and curator for the art collection at 181 Fremont. And tonight we're debuting a new exhibition called PODIUM, which is a continuation of the Gallery 181 art program, which features exhibitions of renowned contemporary artists in partnership with top international galleries. This new exhibition PODIUM features 20 artworks by 15 highly regarded international Black artists. The title of the exhibition speaks to the desire to give space for these works to be seen and for the content and intention of these works to speak for themselves. On the left, you see a work by the artist Tavares Strachan. Its title is A Children's History of Invisibility. It's composed of 26 children's block letters with the artist's illustrations overlaid on top of encyclopedia entries in collage. The inspiration for this work was the artist's childhood in the Bahamas, where the encyclopedia was his only real window to the outside larger world. So he spent the last few years rewriting entries into the encyclopedia to highlight the omitted and forgotten and otherwise invisible history of the world. and draw attention to the way society determines which aspects of culture become part of history and which are erased. This beautiful work on the right-hand side is by the artist Moffat Takadiwa, and it's titled Intoxicated Patient. Takadiwa lives in Zimbabwe, in one of the biggest hotspots for recycling and repurposing microeconomy in his country. So he creates these gorgeous sculptural pieces from ordinary discarded materials, such as computer parts and bottle caps and toothbrushes, and weaves these together to make these impressive organic forms. His choice of these materials communicates his concerns with issues around consumerism, inequality, post-colonialism, and the environment. And he works with local young up-and-coming artists with a goal of creating the world's first arts district made of reused and repurposed materials.
Well, we'll talk about the art more in a minute, but I want to take you into the main living space. Now, Tom, for me, this is where it all comes together. Architecture, view, furnishings, and art. Tell us about what we're seeing here. Oh, Tom, could you turn your mic on?
Thank you, Mary Jo. It really is all about the views here at 181 Fremont. You know, we intentionally designed there to be no more than 4 homes on a floor so that every home is actually on a corner and encompasses 270 degrees of view at an absolute minimum. This home is facing south and east and has incredible views of the Bay Bridge with the 1.8-mile Bay Lights light installation. You see the beautiful hills of Oakland and Berkeley that sparkle in the sunset, and then the great city lights and views of San Francisco as well. The vertical lines on the windows really help to accentuate the 9-foot tall ceilings. You're going to see a beautiful palette used. Orlando has chosen to use French oak on the flooring and accented that with an ebonized oak media and accent walls. So that really adds a lot of warmth and emotion to the space. You'll notice every little minute detail. You'll notice how velvety smooth the walls and ceilings are. This is the highest level of hand troweled plaster finish that can be done. It's a level 5 finish. And then you'll notice on future screens, we use no baseboards and door casements throughout the building. The use of baseboards and door casements tend to hide imperfections. It's a very labor-intensive process referred to as a museum finish. And given the labor involved, it tends to only be seen in museums, galleries, and very high-end custom homes. So as all these, even though each one is noteworthy, combined, it really creates a beautiful richness and sophistication to the interiors, and is a great palette for Robbie and Holly to start with. So.
Well, I was thinking about this, Robbie. When a designer is presented with a view like this, where do you start?
Right. I'm lucky enough to be sitting in this room right now and literally have this incredible view in front of me, which is spectacular, especially today. One of the first things we do when we start planning a home and designing it is study the architecture, study the spaces, how they flow together. And that was what was really critical here. In this home, we've been given an amazing, large, living space to break down in the dining area, the main lounge area. The views and the architecture are something we absolutely have to grapple with and study here and honor. You've got floor to ceiling windows that you don't want to cover up. You want to be able to walk up to them and enjoy this view. And so we've placed the furniture back in such a way that it can do just that. We also always study what the art conditions are in a home. Where will the art live? And it's always a part of our plan with the furniture planning and the layout, thinking about where art will go and making sure that we're leaving space for that to breathe and shine.
Well, I was thinking about the art. We're looking at a very bold view and a very bold piece of art, right, Holly? Tell me about the rhyme piece that I'm looking at.
Yes, this room presents a wonderful opportunity to exhibit digital art. This is a work by Jabad Kahil Huffman, who's a poet and multidisciplinary artist who makes installations, videos, and photo works that use image and text to challenge our understanding of narrative form. The title of this work, Good Jazz, is Good Jazz, and it's a single channel video work that's about 7 minutes long. It's a wonderful and quite poetic work where the artist plays with timing and pacing to tease out suspension, tension, expectation, and release.
Now, if we pivot around and we look back toward the sofa, we see an artist that is well known and beloved in the Bay Area. This is Erica Demon, I believe.
That's right. The work on this wall, these two photographs, are by Bay Area artist Erica Demon from her Silhouette series. These are large-scale photographs of contemporary African-American women depicted with imagery that's based on 19th century style portraits. While they appear to be shot in a stark black and white, on closer inspection, they're actually nuanced color photographs, encouraging us to look past our initial assumptions for a deeper meaning. With these portraits, Demon seeks to elevate Black femininity and identity that defies traditional stereotype.
Robbie, I know that you weren't just inspired by the view. You also took into account the architecture, and the furniture reflects this, I believe.
Yes, definitely. This sectional in particular is by Antonio Citterio. Beautiful piece. We love the shape, the exquisite upholstery details with the stitching all the way around. It's this beautiful large stitching detail, and it provides a lot of comfort. But at the same time, we've designed with a lot of neutral palette, beautiful, sumptuous materials, and in a way that won't take away from the artwork. That's something we always like to study. I'll say the thing that I think I really appreciate the most about this room and the way that it's turned out and the flow that exists here is you can see many different things happening here. Adults having a cocktail party or, just relaxing at the end of the day. But I can also see, my 7-year-old playing with her Legos on the carpet and having the space to sort of spread out and have that kind of activity.
Wonderful. Well, when we turn around and we look back toward the dining room, here again, there's very powerful art that has a reuse and recycle story, which is so appropriate for 181 Fremont, which is built with highest green standards. Holly, explain to me what we're looking at and how it has reuse and recycle in it.
This artist, Serge Cloutey, he lives and works in Ghana, and the title of his work is War Garment. It's gorgeous wall hanging. It looks like a cloth tapestry from a distance, but as you said, it's actually made from a particular kind of imported plastic that's cut from water containers that the artist collects and buys back from members of the local community to remove them from reuse and potential harm to people in the environment. He then cuts them into rough squares and wires them together into wall hanging sculptures which copper, which is another source of environmental degradation in Ghana. He reconfigures these polluting materials into a valuable cultural commodity and artwork and gives a second life to these remnants of Western intervention.
Robbie, this is a great example of how furnishings and artwork can work together at great effect, isn't it?
Yes, we've designed this in such a way to make sure that we're honoring the art wall that it clearly exists here in the dining room. The dining table is a Barber and Osgerby design. It's meant to mimic the idea of Japanese stones stacked in a garden, and we really love it for its graphic form, its sculptural quality, but also its simplicity with its matte lacquer finish and white. So it's graphic and light, but it also is simple enough that it doesn't try to compete with the artwork. I'll say the same for the pendant. It's the trapeze pendant by Jay Liston Design. It's a local San Francisco designer. We love the minimal quality of this piece. It's beautiful when you do see it and when it's on, but it also allows us the opportunity to have artwork behind it, and you can sort of see both at the same time. You can see through the pendant without being distracted by it when you're trying to see the artwork. And then lastly, the objects we've chosen for this table, which I would consider art as well, is these are ceramics by Joe Scobie. He's a Southern California ceramicist. Love his work so much. They're really large, sort of organic forms that are so beautiful and tactile and earthy and warm. And again, they have great power on their own on the table, but at the same time, they don't take away from the artwork on the wall. They allow it to have its own voice, and each stands separate, when you want them to.
Now, Tom, I wanted to ask you about this paneled wall. This is more than just a pretty backdrop, isn't it? There's a functional element here. Oh.
It sure is. It's really a great example of where form and function kind of merge. The cerused ebonized oak, it really warms up the area. but you'll find integrated pocket doors on each end of this, and this wall does separate the kitchen from the dining room. So should you be entertaining and you have a caterer or lots going on in the kitchen, you have the opportunity to draw those doors and separate your living space. But then when you want the more open floor plan and the view, unobstructed views, you can close those and have the more free-flowing floor plan. It really is exceptional when you see it in person as well.
Very flexible. Now, when we go around this wall, we enter the kitchen, and I understand that this is a kitchen that's making its American debut.
It is. Valcucina Cabinets is a smaller firm based in Italy. They're still a family-run operation. They run a very green factory, and we are their West Coast debut here at 181 Fremont. When you see these in person, they're constructed of the highest quality materials. The faces are actually a hardened glass material. This is a really interesting product because it's very durable, leaves no fingerprints, and this will stand the test of time. The color palette utilized in this kitchen is very neutral and inviting, but it's not by any stretch of the imagination boring. The countertops are Brazilian white Macobas quartzite. So it is a natural stone, but it's a very dense stone, so it is very heat resistant and stain resistant as well. The same hardened glass is utilized on the backsplash, so this is a very easy maintenance kitchen. And then it's all finished off with beautiful top-of-the-line Miele and Sub-Zero appliances that are fully integrated, so nothing ever, the lines of the kitchen are very streamlined.
You know, the interesting thing about this home is it marries functionality and fine art. And when we step around, we'll see that this is a kitchen that has fine art.
Yes, in fact, you get a little peek on the right of this beautifully detailed work by Aboriginal artist Angelina Pearl. And on the left, this very glamorous and mysterious work is by British filmmaker and installation artist Isaac Julian, and it's titled Cyborg 2 Twilight Mirror Radioactive Series. This artist's work explores such topics as interracial relationships, institutionalized racism, and transcultural identity and migrations. This particular work is based on a film inspired by African-American writer Octavia Butler's science fiction classic, The Parable of the Sower. And it depicts the story's solitary heroine exploring her mixed race of human and mechanical origins through a post-apocalyptic polarized landscape.
Every piece has a story here, and we're going to hear more stories when we go into the primary bedroom. There's one of them. But first, look at that rug. Robbie, what a showstopper.
Yeah, this rug is called Eyes in Chains, and it's another wonderful CC Tapi rug. This is by Italian graphic designer and artist Federico Pepe. Obviously has an incredible graphic quality to it, high impact visual. When you walk around the corner, you see just a tidbit of it before you get into the room, and it sort of draws you in because you're anticipating what is this thing on the floor that we're about to experience. We love this. So to partner with this, we played with texture on the bed and patterns on the bed as well to sort of work with this very strong visual rug and this graphic rug, but also to pick up on what's happening in the artwork in this room. There's a real amazing connection I find in this primary bedroom between the carpet and the art pieces happening. Just the design and the art overall has really married itself beautifully.
And there it is. I love this piece. And this is by a local artist as well.
Yes, this work is by the Bay Area artist Lava Thomas. It's titled Looking Back One. And the image in this work is sourced from the artist's found family photos, transformed and elevated into this large-scale portrait. A few years ago, the artist found photos of women, her ancestors from the 1880s, and her grandmother's piano bench. And when she saw them, she had this unnerving sense that they were looking back at her. She noticed the intensity and defiance in these women's eyes, and she could imagine how difficult life was for them in the 19th century, and considered when she was making these works that some things have not changed in our time.
And then there's another powerful piece on the adjacent wall.
Exactly. There are two very powerful works of art in this room. This one is by Angela Hennessy, another Bay Area artist. And for this room, Angela did a site-specific installation from her Bling series. This work is comprised of hanging black and gold chains made from gold ties and synthetic and human hair she's crocheted together. Bling casts these chains as objects that adorn the body, but also immediately evoke slave chains. You know, it's such a pleasure to collaborate with a designer like Robbie McMillan, who incorporates artwork into the design of his rooms in such an elegant and poetic way. For example, the chains in Hennessy's work are mirrored in the design of the rug pattern, which also seems to repeat the defiant eyes gazing out at us from the Lava Thomas work in the same room.
That's wonderful. Now, of course, every primary bedroom has a primary bathroom, and this one, I think, is the sanctuary that people have been seeking, right, Tom?
It really is, Mary Jo. This is the most luxurious bathroom I've ever seen. What you're seeing here are full slab, full height Arabescata corkia on all the walls and book matched over the soaking tub, which in and of itself is truly art. So J. Paul Company and the Odata team traveled to Italy, and they actually toured the quarry where this marble is mined. And they selected the Arabescata corkia for its very distinct black and white veining. And not only were the slabs imported from Italy, but the installers came over from the quarry to handle the stone as they installed it into the residences. So you're going to see every miter joint is absolutely perfect. Every seam is impeccable. It's really quite a work of art in the marble alone. And then this is complemented by full slab, large scale slab marble, Lincoln marble floors. The Lincoln marble was selected for its absolute pure whiteness. Fun fact about that marble, it's actually called Lincoln because it's the same marble that the Lincoln Memorial is carved from. Of course, radiant heat in the floor because nobody wants to walk on cold marble floors. And then you're going to find great integrated storage and beautiful cabinets that were designed by Orlando and Odata for 181 Fremont. And then this is all finished with beautiful Dorenbrock faucets. It's kind of the jewelry of the bath.
Oh, beautiful. Now, when we step into another bedroom, Robbie, it seems like the story for the primary bedroom was pattern, and the story in this bedroom is color.
Yes, it is. You know, this room is in the center of the home, and we felt a real intimate quality about it when we first, saw the home and walked through. And so we decided to paint the entire room on the inside this wonderful gray-green color, ceiling, walls, back of the door, everything. So when you go in the room and close the door, you're enveloped in this wonderful, warm, gray-green color. And it has a satin sheen to it as well, which is really beautiful, especially at night with the light glow. Color play and pattern on the bed is at play for sure. You see a wonderful African bedroll we found at Goody from Brooklyn in New York, a place that we love. And then this incredible rug is another Patricia Urquiola design for CC Tapi. What I love about this, besides it's called Fordite 3, so it plays on the idea of Fordite, which is a byproduct of the automotive painting industry where chips of layers and layers of paint are taken and polished, sometimes used for jewelry and other needs. So that's the idea of the rug. But what I love about it too is that she used byproduct from the CC Tapi manufacturing process to actually assemble this rug. And so it's a great ecological story as well.
Now, again, we have some arresting portraiture here. And I believe this is the same artist you were telling us about earlier, Holly.
That's right. This is, again, Bay Area artist Erica Demon. Two more works by her titled Gregory in Blue. These are from her Brown series, which is a collection of portraits of Black shirtless men in front of a brown backdrop, the color of which matches the color of the artist's own skin. By interjecting her own presence into these portraits, she seeks to challenge the stereotypical and often racist depiction of Black men. And to your left, this small work is by the renowned sculptor Leonardo Drew. It's wood and mixed media. Its title is number 70S. Drew creates sculptures from natural materials and uses processes of oxidation, burning, and decay, and transform these objects into sculptures, often on a very large scale, that critique social injustices and the cyclical nature of existence.
I see. Now, next, I believe we have a picture of another bedroom. And again, this home could be called House of Beautiful Rugs. There are so many gorgeous rugs. And right away, the color steps up to me here, Robbie. I really notice it here.
Yeah, so this is a really large bedroom. So when you enter, you're able to sort of stand back and take in the whole space all the way to this beautiful view at the end. And so we felt it was an opportunity to play with fun color. We have this dusty rose sort of carpet by CC Tapi. And then we continued that on into the textiles of the bedding and the occasional chair that's there as well, and the plums and oranges and dusty pinks, balanced it with a little indigo and some charcoal. So we really love that. The other thing I love about, the setup of this room is, we chose this black and white photograph. It's wonderful, by Chanel Stone, another local artist we love, to balance all of this color in the room. Often you'll see a very colorful artwork and very neutral tones on the bedding and on the furniture itself, and we've certainly done that ourselves. But in this case, it worked so well to have all of this color play and texture and pattern, and then on the wall have this incredible black and white photograph that draws your eye immediately, because it is the thing that is different in the room.
Well, one of the joys about this home is I personally have learned about so many interesting local artists, and this is one. This photograph, the moment I saw it, at first I thought it was a woman wearing a very full skirt, a fancy skirt, but when you look closely, it isn't that at all.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as Robbie said, this stunning image is by Chanel Stone, who is an Oakland-based artist, a very talented young photographer. And the title of this work is In Search of a Certain Eden. It's from her Natura Negra series. Chanel, in her work, is exploring the Black body's connection to nature, both man-made and rural. And here she's analyzing the Black body's presence within the urban forests as an effort to reclaim and reconnect to nature itself.
Now we're going to take another look at some details here. Holly, this is another artwork in the room. Tell us about this very colorful piece.
Yes, this is the last artwork we're going to speak about tonight, but it's a very exciting one. It's by the artist Simpiwe Nzubi, and the title of the work is Zhongzui. This fantastical painting, the title of which I just learned tonight because I called the director at Nicodeme Gallery, and he called the artist. And the title, actually, Zhongzui, is a proper name only given to firstborn sons. The artist said the name means to watch over the nation and discover its hidden parts and to look after the whole of it.
Oh,
so the artist's practice, which includes painting, sculpture, and installations, are presented as this subjective account of the Black experience in South Africa. And in his work, he brings us into this imaginative universe that he calls the Mind Moon, where he leads us on a powerful journey of creativity and imagination to explore themes and tradition of his culture and historical events which have marked South Africa, particularly apartheid.
Robbie, this room also, as we saw in earlier slides, it has a bit of an angled window. And I see that you've sort of picked up that geometry in both the light fixture and the tripod base on that chair.
Yes, we really look for sculptural forms, especially in accent pieces, like an occasional chair, a side table. It just really helps to give some shape interest when you're looking around the room and balances things like a large sectional or a bed. This is another great example here. This is a really architectural piece designed by Jean-Marie Massot for B&B Italia. We love it, architectural line, this beautiful, elegant curve of a line that mimics the shape of the bridge that you see right outside, and just looks like it's floating so effortlessly. So it's both dramatic, but in a quiet way. So it doesn't take away from the view, but it definitely sort of complements it.
And talk about furniture as sculpture, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, anyone who would live in this home, it doesn't just stop at the front door. There are beautiful public spaces here. And Tom, when I saw this, I saw a whole new perspective on the city skyline.
It's a beautiful space, Mary Jo. This is the outdoor terrace that completely wraps the Residence Club, which is just a few floors down, still 500 feet above the street. So each of the corners here is set up with a very different furniture arrangement. So you can lounge out there. There's a dining space. There's actually even an area with a fire pit and rocking chairs. The great part about this is that even though you may live on one corner of the building, you can come down here and enjoy all the views surrounding you, which are taking in every major landmark of San Francisco and the surrounding Bay Area. It's very unusual for a developer to use space this high up in the sky for amenities, but the J. Paul Company thought it was an appropriate dedication to space, and it really has created one of the most exclusive clubs in the city.
Of course, that's big wide open spaces, and there's more sort of intimate interior focused spaces as well, like this one.
This is the East Lounge, and you'll see this space is very much designed to be a social gathering space. This is very effective for small parties, but if you're having a larger event, the furniture is very easily moved and arranged so that it's very conversational and lends itself to gatherings. You'll also see a couple of beautiful pieces of artwork that Holly Baxter also curated for us. All of the art throughout the common areas is blue chip art. And here you're seeing Teresita Fernandez. You'll see other artists such as Richard Serra and Eva Rothschild throughout. So it's really part of the quality and the integrity of the entire offering here.
Now, as a homes editor, I see a lot of amenities, but this one's a first for me, a piano bar.
It's a great space, and this really lends itself to events. And about half of the floor space on this level, on the Residence Club, can be reserved by the owners for private events. This Serpentine bar is a great place for the owners to gather for a cocktail with other owners or with family or guests. In the morning, the concierge will host coffee, tea, periodicals, and healthy snacks here. And then every day, there's actually a daily happy hour for the homeowners, also hosted by the concierge. They really are, it really is an intention to build a community here. And it is an exclusive club dedicated just to our owners. You're absolutely right about the piano. It's a great amenity there. Some of our homeowners do play. And then the concierge has actually been able to arrange piano lessons for some of our other homeowners. So it's a nice space to hang. Now, you're not seeing a few other amenities that are part of this floor. There's a state-of-the-art gym, a yoga studio with TRX suspension bands in there. There is a media lounge, a conference room, catering kitchen, and dining room as well. So it really is a full-service floor dedicated to the owners.
Oh, wonderful. Well, this has been a beautiful tour. We have just a few minutes for a couple of questions. So let me ask those very, very quickly. Holly, here's one for you. You mentioned that the exhibition was called PODIUM, and you said a few words about it, but could you elaborate about the meaning of the title?
Yeah, the title speaks to our desire to give space for these works to be seen and to speak for themselves. We wanted the works themselves to say what they had to say.
Okay, here is one for Robbie. Robbie, where did you source this furniture?
Well, we, design is all about problem solving. And so we decided in this home to give ourselves a really interesting problem solving exercise and worked with B&B Italia Max Alto furniture across the board. And every piece of furniture that you see is from B&B Italia. So B&B Italia has been around since 1966. Amazing industrial innovation is at the heart of what they do and what they have always done. And we found it to be a really beautiful pair with the world-class architecture and engineering of 181 Fremont. So we're very excited to be showcasing B&B Italia and Max Alto.
All right, well, speaking of engineering, we have an engineering question. This would be for Matt or Tom. A lot has been in the news recently about the engineering of San Francisco towers. Can you tell us about how 181 Fremont has been engineered?
Matt, I'll take that if that's okay. Matt alluded earlier to the 6 awards that we won from the International Council of Tall Building and Urban Habitat. One was for the exoskeletal portion of the building. This is a very unique design. Those cross members that you see are actually the supporting elements. And where they're joined, they're connected with viscous dampers, which give the building a seismic capability. Most buildings are designed to protect inhabitants, but this building has gone beyond. It also is about protecting the asset itself. So the building is designed to withstand up to an 8.4 seismic event with no structural damage. Also, our foundation is the deepest in San Francisco, drilling into the earth up to 260 feet down, and it's anchored into the bedrock. So our building is one of the most seismically resilient in the nation.
Now we have time for just one more, and I think this is a good one to end on. Matt, maybe you want to take this one. There are many towers to choose from if you're going to live in San Francisco. Why choose 181 Fremont?
Well, Mary Jo, of course, I think there are many reasons to live here. I can think of 3 really good ones off the top of my head. First of all, it's the views, and Tom alluded to them, and he saw snips and pieces of them. I'm sitting on the top floor here, and I'm seeing the fog roll in, and with the fingers and the blue sky. It's absolutely stunning. You know, our lowest unit's over 500 feet off the ground, so there are just no bad views here in any unit. And you can see everything, which is really phenomenal. And then, you know, the fit and finish. You know, every designer has his wish list, and every architect has his wish list of materials and techniques to use. And developers come in and value engineer them to save some money, and we didn't. We greenlit almost everything that the designers wanted originally, and call us crazy, but the residents are all benefiting. So they're just finishes you just don't see in most commercial residences at all, and that's really, really spectacular. So, you know, those are 2 really important reasons to come here. It's a really unique property that you just won't find anywhere else, you know, we think in the world.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our presentation. I want to thank everyone for joining us. And Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you to close it out.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you enjoyed your tour through 181 Fremont. A virtual tour can only begin to kind of pique your interest, I'm sure. So we would love to invite you through for a personal tour. If you're interested in touring the residence at 181 Fremont, please reach out to Leo, Carmen, or myself, where our contact information is listed here. I'm sure Robbie would be more than happy to help you with design inspiration and assistance. And if you would like to see the art collection curated here at 181 Fremont, Holly Baxter is happy to provide a tour or to help you build your own personal collection. So we really appreciate your attending tonight, and we hope to see you at 181 Fremont. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you so much for attending. If we didn't get to your questions, I will email you, and you will all get a packet of information on everything that you saw this evening. If you'd like a recording of what you saw, please let me know once you get your packet, and I will send you a recording. Thanks again. Have a wonderful evening.